Good afternoon, folks. It's 12:05. We may have a few other people join us, but I'm going to go ahead and get started with our presentation for the day. My name's Justin Smith. I'm with Construction Division, and I'm going to give a brief presentation on just some of the general information on APCM. As a reminder, the APCM stands for AASHTOWare Project Construction and Materials. This is the software package that we are utilizing to replace our site manager software, which AASHTOWare is supporting. So it's time for us to upgrade our software. Some training resources that are available. We have been presenting at these lunch and learns for the past several months, different topics, creating data estimates, change orders, things like that. Got to see them listed here. The QR code there on the right will take you directly to the information page where these are stored. As I said, today's presentation is just some general information, intro information to getting into and navigating around. Our rollout has begun. Abilene, Fort Worth, Lufkin, Waco, and Yoakum. It's getting kind of pretty real for you guys now. Any projects that let from this month moving forward, you guys will be working them in APCM. Lufkin and Waco have already started a couple of projects as pilots for us, so it's not entirely new there, but the rest, everybody else, it's time to get started. Brownwood, Lubbock, Laredo, San Antonio, San Angelo, it's coming for you guys next month. Antonio also did a pilot project for us, so they have a little experience with it. And pardon me. Y'all can see who's coming up next as we go down through the list. So the first thing, and I've actually been asked this a lot, is how do I get into APCM? Well, APCM is a web-based construction materials application. It's replacing Site Manager. Site Manager was an application that worked through a Windows environment. It was not web-based, so you had a little icon on your screen that opened up the application, allowed you to get started. For APCM, it's web-based, so you'll be actually accessing it through a web address. Currently, we have a couple of environments that we are using. The first one listed here is our test environment. That's where those of us over at CSD and some other volunteers from across the state have been testing out various components as AASHTOWare made them available to us. That's where we've tested out, building VWRs, doing diary entries. As more and more of those components got completed, started to bring it together, we activated the production environment. That way we could start testing the system, interacting with the rest of our software systems here at TxDOT. And that is our production environment. That is the live environment where you're actually going, if you pay a contractor $1 million worth of hot mix, it will try to pay the contractor $1 million worth of hot mix. So when you're in the production environment, it is the real deal. Now, how do we get to it? You could copy down the web address that's there on the screen. Easier way is you can access it via the apps link on the Crossroads page. It's right there at the top, AASHTOWare Project, APVM, APCM, and APCRL. All three of those acronyms are actually components of AASHTOWare product modules that TxDOT is using. The APVM is a vendor management software that we use. That's part of the process for getting our contractors and our vendors pre-approved. The APCRL is a module that we are using for our lab testing equipment, and we've had it up and going for a while. So I will demonstrate that here in just a moment. A couple of things I want to cover before we get into it. Access to APCM, there's no need to submit a ticket. What we have done is gone through, and for the districts that are in phase one of the rollout, we have gone in, pulled your site manager access, and whatever role you had in site manager, you've been assigned the corresponding role in APCM. Now, the roles aren't exactly the same. I'll show you that in just a minute, where I show you which roles are available on APCM. But basically, if you had site manager access before, you will have APCM access going forward. CEIs are a little different. Our CEIs will be granted access once they have been assigned to a project. And similar to with site manager, to access to APCM, they will have to go through the Citrus server so that they can get into our website from behind the firewall. So as far as roles go, we don't have as many roles available in APCM as we did previously in Site Manager. You can see the corresponding Site Manager roles and APCM roles. We've combined the Inspector, Project Manager, and Chief Inspector roles into just a Project Manager. Same thing with the Bookkeeper 1 and 2. Everything from there down is pretty well copy and paste straight across. So if you had one of those roles previously, you can see where you'll fall in the new system. So at this point, I'm going to jump out of the presentation and go into a live demonstration. So from our home screen in Crossroads, as I said before, you go into Apps. Right here at the top, you see AASHTOWare Project, APVM, APCM, and APCLR. You click on it, and it will begin the process. Now, I've already been in this morning because I wanted to make sure I could get in before I did the presentation. There are a couple of other steps that you would normally go through your first time in, where you select which account you're logging into. That's just your email address, and there's the multi-factor identification that you have to go through your first time in for the day. So once you get in, this is your home screen. First thing you get is up here at AP production environment. This tells you you're in the live environment. That says the test environment. You're in the sandlot we play in when we're trying to test out in portions of APCM. And whatever you do is not going to affect life out in the real world. So if you're going in and trying to put in a DWR, a diary entry, make sure you're in the production environment. Now, different roles will have different abilities once you get into APCM. You click up here at the top. On home, the down arrow, this will bring up the different roles that are available to you. At the moment, I am set up as a project manager, so that's the only role I see. If you had multiple roles set up in Site Manager, you may have multiple options here. You get into APCM and you're trying to do something and realize I can't do what I need to do. You're probably in the wrong role and need to go in and switch roles you're under. These other two buttons up here at the top, I'll come back and deal with them here in a minute. Homepage news, if there's something that needs to be brought to your attention, it will pop up underneath this particular heading. For your day-to-day construction, most of the work you're going to do is going to pop up underneath this construction component here. We'll talk about it some more in just a second. We have some reference data. This is general information that is available to you guys. Districts, what's the district address, what are the facilities that are available there. You can look up different items in the contract, different laboratories, just reference material there for you if you need it. Over here on this side, we have links. This is where different links that, again, may be useful to you. At the top is TxDOT.gov, and then Crossroads right below it. Just quick links to help you get where you need to go. These next two components here have to deal with materials and material testing. We'll cover that more in later modules, but this is where you will be doing your testing input and making sure that you have all the testing requirements met for the contract. So let's navigate around for just a moment. First place we want to go. Let's pop down to contract progress. This is where you can get some general information about the contract itself. Now, I clicked on it, nothing happened. I've got a blank screen. I've got to tell it which contract I need to work on. You can do a search for it. You can also click show the first 10, and this will bring up the first 10 contracts that are listed that you are allowed to see. Now, I have statewide access, so I can see pretty much everything that's in APCM at the moment. I don't see the contract I'm looking on. Down here at the bottom, I can load the next 20, and I can keep doing that until I get all of the contracts that I can see brought up. As you might guess, as time goes on, this list is going to get longer and longer, and it may take a while to find what you're looking for. Now, I cheat. I know the one I'm looking for is down here at the bottom. By clicking on the contract number, and this is your CSJ, click on it, I can bring up general information about the contract. Now, I'm going to use the home screen to go back to the beginning. Go back into contract progress because I want to show a few other things. If I don't want to list or dig through the list to find what I'm looking for, I can search by the CSJ. Very simple. Type in what it wants and it will start filtering for me. Again, bring it up. I don't want to go through this process every day to find the contract I'm working on. The simple solutions come up here to my pages and tell it to remember this page. Now, I can come back here anytime I want to work. This allows us to build a shortcut so that you don't have to go through this process every day, 2 or 3 times a day when you're getting into APCM to input information. Now, once we're under this component, we can actually go through and look at any of the portions of the contract that we're working on. Pull up daily work reports. Again, it's going to give me a blank screen until I tell it, all right, show me what we got. Now we'll go through and pull up all the DWRs that are available for this contract, regardless of who's the one who's putting them in. Mark and Aubrey have been building most of these. Bill's got a few down there. This allows us to see what's going on. Now, over here on the right, we have our component action menus. This allows us to manipulate the whole area here in certain ways. We can add attachments. We can check the contract price adjustment. There's a whole list of items over here. That list changes depending on which role you're in APCM. If you don't see what you're looking for, you may try switching roles to come back. Each line item on here also has a drop-down menu. These are our row action menus. Again, this is how you manipulate things within APCM. You can delete it. Mark might get upset with me if I delete his stuff, so I'm not going to do that. If you're looking for something in particular, say you're looking for a specific item on a specific DWR, you pull one up and say, all right, this doesn't have what I want. You can exclude it from your search results, and you can whittle down what you're looking for that way. You can also come down here and approve or change to draft or reject your DWRs. So if you're trying to do something within the component or manipulate this particular row, here is where you find the actions to do that. Right. And then as you're going through, once you have done whatever it is you've come to do for this particular page, this component, don't forget to come over and save your work. I haven't changed anything at this point, so save is not available to me right now. Pardon me. So once you have finished whatever it is you're doing, you can navigate back to where we started using the home screen. If you want to just go back a short distance, simple previous button will take you back to the previous page that you were on, or you can use the arrow button to drop down to navigate over to a specific page that you remember going to. So in this case, I can navigate to a screen that I was at previously and look at the DWR, the daily work report overview for these contracts. What else did I need to go? Last thing I wanted to show y'all is when you are searching. I've gone through here. I have searched before. It has previous information that it is using to filter the screen. I didn't erase it when I came in. If I clear the search, hit the eraser button, that'll clear your search results, bring everything back up. In this case, gives me a blank screen to work from, and I can start searching once again for whatever it is I need. There's an advanced tab where you can add multiple things to filter by. So, working in Site Manager, it's going to look very different from what we've been doing previously. If you will use the job aids that we are presenting, that we're putting out for you, should be fairly simple to move around in. If you run into something that is an issue, please let us know. We have been testing it as much as we can, but as more people use it, we're going to find things that we have overlooked or not been able to identify at this point. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open this up for questions. And advance the slide. Do we have any questions on what I've presented on so far today?